Hello, DC fans. Well, I'll tell you what, I did not expect to be doing a third video on the Superman trailer, but oh my goodness, do I have some stuff to talk about. So, huge shout out to Foxatimi Sushi, who emailed me some high-res images taken from the set of the Superman movie that show exactly what Clark's newspaper says. If you know from my previous videos, I've been trying to read this newspaper. Well, now we know exactly what it says, and boy, does it reveal some interesting plot details. So let me just say up front, I do not normally discuss things found on the set. I normally only focus on things in the trailer. But this is actually in the trailer, we just can't read it. So I'm making an exception in this case, but I do want to say that if you don't want to know anything about, things that you couldn't have read in the trailer, I'm not offended if you bow out of the video. But for those that stick around, boy, do we have some stuff to discuss. All right, so let's dive right in and see what we can find out. Don't forget, we do have a December contest running all month long. Be a subscriber and leave a comment, and you could win a book or a steelbook. Best of luck. And we have a membership option with lots of cool perks, so you might check that out in case you're interested. Okay, so it turns out this newspaper that the dude's holding is way more important than we ever would have realized. And of course, Clark is carrying it here as well. And in my previous trailers, I tried to read this darn thing. I have several images here where you could get bits and pieces, and finally got this more high-res image where we could definitely read Hammer of Boravia creates havoc downtown, but we can't really see who's in the picture. We can't read the subheading. We can't read the article, etc. We can't read the date of the newspaper. Nothing, right? Okay. Here we go. This is a high-res shot of the newspaper, and boy, oh boy, is there a lot to discuss. Whoa. Okay, so let's just take this in pieces. First of all, I love the timeline stuff, so we get a date, May 19th, and a Monday. May 19th is a Monday in 2025, and of course the movie comes out in 2025, so my guess is we now have our official timeline for the movie. Monday, May 19th of 2025. Also, just a real quick note of something on the bottom before we dive into all the main article. Breaking news, more than 50 tornadoes confirmed during recent outbreak. Well, you might remember from the trailer, I talked about the fact that this TV screen back there was discussing lots of serious weather concerns, flooding, all kinds of problems. There is something going on with the weather in this movie, so that's going to be really interesting to learn more about that. But okay. We get the title of the article, Hammer of Boravia creates havoc downtown. Well, remember, Boravia was featured in the trailer because we see this news story of the little boy calling for Superman, Boravian troops amassing at border. Well, that is far more important of a title there than I would have ever guessed. Amassing at border is critical because we're going to see that Boravia is at war with a country right next to it that borders it. Well, we're going to learn the name of that border country and how Superman got involved in the conflict. And boy, is it crazy. Okay, so let's now talk about the picture. We can now see it very clearly, and it's not Gorilla Grodd. Darn it. But it's also not a pile of smoke. Some people said it was just smoke. No, it's somebody in body armor. Now, actually, it could technically be Gorilla Grodd under that body armor, but yeah, it's definitely not obviously Gorilla Grodd. In fact, even the article's subheading says, Superpowered Mystery Man damages Metropolis. So at the time this article was written, which is after the attack, obviously, they still didn't know who it was. Fascinating. And of course, the story's author is Clark Kent, right? No surprise. But now we're going to dive into the story itself because there are so many amazing plot details and Easter eggs. You are going to love this. So I'm going to zoom in, but I realize you probably still can't read it. That's fine because I'm going to read through all of it. Okay, here we go. Metropolis was targeted by a superpowered mystery man on Sunday. And remember, this paper came out on Monday, so we're talking just basically yesterday in the movie. It resulted in over $20 million in damages to the city. The self-titled Hammer of Boravia attacked downtown Metropolis, claiming it was retribution for the recent political interventions in Boravia by Superman. Whoa. This vengeful expedition turned into a terrorist assault on American soil, hospitalizing 22 Metropolis citizens. Oh my word. So, Superman goes overseas, and retribution, because of whatever he does, results in, well, this, right? We saw it in the trailer. I mean, some massive destruction. And in fact, that might be why everyone is turning against him. Like, dude, why are you going overseas to solve some problem, far away from all of us and bringing it then home to Metropolis? $20 million worth of damages and several people hospitalized. Makes so much sense why that dude's chucking something at the back of his head. All right, so let's move on. So Boravia has been the source of numerous headlines worldwide in recent weeks as it invaded its neighboring country, Jarhanpur. So remember, I said that it was very important about the border of Boravia with, and now we find out, Jarhanpur. Wild. Only for a brief war to be swiftly ended by Superman. The president of Boravia, I believe it's Vasil Garkos, maintains the Hammer of Boravia is not a representative of the national government, but rather an independent vigilante, and then the story continues on the other side of the paper that we don't have. But yeah, so much going on there, right? So first of all, let's talk about Jarhanpur, because if you're watching Creature Commandos, and don't worry, no spoilers if you're not, but this dude, who in this case is actually helping Frankenstein's monster, mentions that Rick Flag and he fought together some moons ago in Jarhanpur. Isn't that wild? So that country gets brought up in Creature Commandos and then ends up being critically important in the Superman movie. So yeah, there is definitely a war going on. Superman intercedes, and that results in Metropolis taking the hit for it. Wild. All right, so then the story goes on. When addressing the political ramifications of his actions, Superman said, while critics thousands of miles away from this conflict continue to argue if what I did was right or wrong, the bottom line is people's lives were threatened and I had to act. So I love that. Superman is unapologetic, people were in need, and he went to help. All right, so damages include an ocular laser strike. Interesting. An ocular laser strike. So whatever this creature is, this Hammer of Boravia, it has obviously eye beams, laser beams coming out of its eyes. Interesting. All right. And it attacked a well-known Chocos building. Yeah, Chocos, right? You know Chocos from Justice League International and many other places, I'm sure, but I remember them from the Justice League International storyline. They are very, very good tasting cookies. Anyway, so we get a quote, "Luckily, no employees were injured," says a Chocos spokeswoman, "and this will not affect the production of the beloved Chocos cookies. The company also promised to offer employees affected by the attack a paid recovery holiday and says any requested therapy will be fully covered, but no employees could be reached to confirm these offers." All right, so then we get, the story kind of goes off the page. The Hammer's invasion also led to significant harm to but we don't know what it is, and then picks up again here. I mean, he's helping people every day. I can do it at least once. So probably referring to Superman. But all right, this last part is really important. So the destruction of the public property due to the actions of superpowered individuals and extraterrestrials has been a contentious topic of discussion in local government. Many believe that the recent tax hike is a consequence of this rise in super people acting outside the law. Then we get a quote. "The recent tax raise was only to support our ever-growing population," claims a representative from the Metropolis capital. "Our latest project is to restore reported condemned housing and recodify them into modern standards. This would increase available homes in," and this is really cool, they mention several boroughs in Metropolis. They mention New Troy Island would get 17% more, Baker Line would get 19% more, and Queensland Park a staggering 26%. The rep would go on to confirm Metropolis may also blah, 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 blah. But that's really cool, because if you know from the comics, Metropolis has 6 main boroughs, and 3 of them get a shout out here. But oh my goodness, aren't these just some amazing details? Really, really shed some light on what's going on in the trailer. Okay, so I have one more article I want to show you, another high-res image. I think it's probably the article that's over here against the wall, and it's framed. If it's not this one, then it's probably somewhere in the Daily Planet, because it seems like they're framing some really famous articles, and here it is. Okay, so let's break this thing down in pieces. So if we take the top piece, we do get a date, Tuesday, September 7th. That aligns with calendar year 2021. So this may be like an article from maybe 4 years ago, let's say, or around 4 years ago. The title is Superman Stops MTA Rail from Running Off the Tracks. All right, so let's look at this. So no surprise, right? Clark Kent, once again, wrote the article. Nice call out for Jimmy Olsen for taking the photo. And now I'm going to go through this article. And I do want to give a huge thanks to Titan from the Discord because he helped translate this because it is really blurry. Okay, heroism flashes once again across the Metropolis sky in blue, red, and gold. At 8:02 a.m. on Wednesday, the Metropolis Transit Authority, MTA, received a distress call from the northbound A train with reports of brake issues and uncontrolled acceleration, resulting in multiple missed stops along Morrison Avenue. Love that, right? Probably a shout out for Grant Morrison. With over 300 passengers on board, panic spread as the Metro Rail train reached hazardous speeds and barreled throughout downtown New Troy. So another nice reference to the boroughs. Potential disaster loomed only a mile away. Pipeline construction near the Metropolis City Hall meant an 80-foot segment of the railway track had been removed, leaving a 3-story drop between the Metro Rail track and the unconnected railway tracks. We were helpless, stated a train operator, Tom Wadsworth. There wasn't enough time for the MTA to intervene. Emergency brakes were malfunctioning. I could see the break in the tracks just ahead. I prayed for a miracle. Thankfully for Wadsworth and the passengers, a miracle did appear, caped, flying at top speeds, and ready to help. Metropolis hero Superman blazed to the front of the runaway train. In an impressive display of superhuman strength and bravery, Superman slowed the train to a halt mere yards from the perilous drop into open air. And I have to note, that is so similar to what happened in the first Superman movie, right? So it's got to be an homage. Now, of course, in the Superman movie, he filled in the hole in the track versus in the new Superman movie, obviously Gunn's movie, he stops the train. But still, that is really, really cool. All right, so continuing on, because of Superman, I am still alive, passenger Evie Schreiner commented on the city's most famous superhero. I think that's really cool, right? I mean, certainly the city loves Superman right now, even though they may not love him a little bit later. Anyway, Evie, along with many of her fellow commuters, was on her way to work at Lord Tech Corporate Building. Love it. So there's a name drop for Lord Tech. The mother of 3 and native metropolitan, Evie credits Superman with not only saving her life, but also declared that, quote, he is the best this city has to offer. He saved hundreds of lives this morning. Who knows how many he'll save this afternoon, this week, this year. According to MTA officials, no one was injured. The passengers were transferred to shuttle buses to continue their commutes. Investigations continue into the cause of the near calamity, although early reports place the blame on a faulty brake assembly. The train passed its daily inspection an hour before the first distress call, causing many to question the integrity and thoroughness of the MTA's inspection process. So, really cool. Just a couple Easter eggs, really. Nothing new plot-wise, other than it's clear that the city loves Superman. Well, until they don't. Isn't that the way it always works? All right, and then here we have the bottom of the newspaper. Not really much here of interest other than notice climate change impacts detailed at Science Center. So assuming this is in 2021, 4 years before the movie takes place in 2025, they were still really worried about the climate and things going on. So yeah, very interesting. I do think that bad weather issues are going to be a problem in the movie. Okay, so there you go. I want to do another big shout out to Foxatemi Sushi. Thank you so much for sending these images. And for everybody that watched the video, I hope you found this interesting. Let me know your thoughts. What does this make you feel about the movie? Are you even more excited about the movie? Because I sure am. I mean, let's face it. Summer cannot come soon enough. July 11th, DC Studios. It is going to be awesome. Leave me your thoughts. You know I love to read and respond to all of them. Also, don't forget that December contest. Be a subscriber, leave a comment to win the book or steelbook. And we have the membership option in case you're interested in that. And I always conclude by talking about the Discord. Here we are talking about everything going on with the trailer, the movie, Easter eggs, whatever we can find. We would love to have you join us. We have 1,900 members across the globe with conversations happening 24/7. So I will leave a pinned comment so that you can join. Also, if you don't mind, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. You can check out more content, and we will all eagerly await the next trailer for Superman.